Go back to 4 years ago. Remind us how we got to this point and got to this decision.
Yeah, Matt, the bottom line being the Federal Court of Appeal now saying that the Liberal government did not have reasonable grounds to invoke the Emergencies Act back in 2022 to remove protests taking place in downtown Ottawa. You remember this well. It gripped the country and made headlines around the world for about 3 weeks in 2022. Downtown Ottawa was filled with protesters protesting against the vaccine mandates. Large trucks blocked streets, and those truckers came from that entire convoy came from different parts of Canada. Then former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau invoked the act on February 12th, 2022 to end those protests. That allowed the government extraordinary temporary powers, including banning people assembling in public spaces and freezing bank assets related to the protests. So it has been a bit of an up and down since then, because back in 2023, early 2023, a public inquiry and a report actually resulted in a judge concluding that the use of the act was appropriate, but it could have been avoided. So that judge sided with the government in saying that the invoking of the act was appropriate. But then several advocacy groups pushed back against that and challenged Ottawa in federal court. And then finally in January of 2024, 2 years ago, another judge ruled that Ottawa's decision did not, quote, bear the hallmarks of reasonableness, and the federal government failed to prove that there was an actual emergency. So that judge then siding with the protesters in some sense and those advocacy groups, the federal government then appealed that decision, and now today learning that they have lost that appeal with the Federal Court of Appeal saying the Liberals unreasonably invoked the Emergencies Act. Now, today's decision will probably be appealed once again, this time to the Supreme Court of Canada, according to legal experts. But the top court only accepts a small number of proposed appeals. And if the Supreme Court, Matt, does hear this case, then it could be some time, all the way until 2028, until they reach a decision. So this could be far from over and could be years until we hear another decision related to this.
Yeah, and again, we